So here's the irony. I'm driving around Poole in an electric ID Buzz looking for fuel prices as to where to fill up my diesel van on the way home. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? Anyway, cheapest disaster, so I'll be stopping there on the way back. 168.7, that's pretty good. Hi everybody, I'm JT. Welcome to another video from me here at Campervan Journey. And this morning we're on the way to get California serviced. It's a little treatment store which I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, so we've all arrived. Let's go and get ourselves checked in and we see how we can get on with the service. Okay, we've just dropped the California off for its service and we are driving the future. Well, that's what some people would like us to think. So Breeze have very kindly lent me an ID Buzz to try out, and I've been looking forward to trying one of these, for seeing one and trying one for a little while. So let's see what it's like and see how we get on with this, all this amazing technology. I'd like to think that I'm fairly good with technology in cars, having worked in the motor industry for some time, but there's a lot going on in here, a lot of gadgets. So let's see how we do, see how we get on. First impressions, as you'd expect from an electric vehicle, it's very quiet, a little bit of tyre noise. I guess you notice it more because there's very little engine noise. There's some swooshy lights going on. I think that's to do with navigation. Just a light swooshed across the front there. And I think we've got a heated steering wheel, because my hands are nice and warm. Let's see if we can find out if we can turn it off. Not that we want to turn it off necessarily, but yeah. So we're going to take it for a little drive, see how we get on. I tell you what is impressive is that there's no rattles or squeaks. So on new cars, when they are first in their early production cycles, there's always rattles, squeaks, little bits of trim that don't fit properly. And you know, early customers, the early adopters who take these cars, take delivery of them, will often come in, you know, well, there's a noise here and a noise there and a little squeak there, and they sort of accept it because they're one of the first to be trying out that vehicle. But this is really well screwed together. So trim doesn't make any noises, there's no rattles or squeaks. The plastics aren't quite as nice quality as I would have expected. They're a little harder, they're not soft touch. And again, that's one of the cost-cutting measures that Volkswagen have made and been criticised for, is plastic aluminium trim on the centre console. But generally speaking, it seems really well put together. So we brought the ID Buzz down to Sandbanks in Poole, just around the corner from Millionaires Row. Just over there, loads of very big, very fancy houses. And so far I'm really quite impressed with it. I'm not quite sure what I expected. I've driven electric vehicles before, but this is a real game changer for Volkswagen, and it's got to do a great job for them. But I think, based on what I've experienced in that short drive so far, it's really good. So let's show you around and tell you a little bit more about it. So let's get some first impressions. I love the styling. I guess it's easy to think that it's a bit of a caricature with its cheeky looks and cheeky grin almost, and the Volkswagen directors have decided that they want to adopt this look across all of their cars, making them look more friendly, and I think they certainly do look more friendly. I think you could make it even more cheeky and friendly. If you've seen some of the ones in the two-tone look, the yellow with the white, that would look even more funky. But UK dealers tend not to order them in those colours because they're quite strong choices, they're quite personal choices, and not everybody wants to buy one of those. But this in this sort of dark blue looks very sophisticated, very smart. I'm not sure what their name of the colour is. With the blacked out windows, it could certainly pass as a very smart design in almost all circumstances. So we've got the really nice front look, the LED lights at the front, the adaptive cruise sensors down at the bottom. Having had adaptive cruise control before, it's a great piece of kit, and I would absolutely have it on any new vehicle. It's really short, so it's shorter than our T6 California. I think noticeably at the front you can see there's quite a sharp cutoff. There's no engine, so there's no bonnet. There's no need for a bonnet, and I think what they call the frunk. Not even sure if this actually opens up at all, whether you've got a link for putting in screen wash or whatnot. Nice aerodynamic wheel trims, which again will be designed to improve aero efficiency, which will help the range. And this very smooth body style is all geared to optimum aerodynamic efficiency. I've just been stopped by a chap who wanted to have a quick chat about it. It's obviously an attention grabber, owning a T5, and he said how nice it was to see the new van, and he loves the style of it. So, and you can see that people walking about are just all clocking it and looking at it. So if VW wanted to design something that's going to grab attention and grab interest, then they've definitely done it with this. So anyway, enough of my chit chat. I'm going to go and drive it a bit more, and we'll go and then park up and I'll show you a bit of the interior and give you some more thoughts about what we think in a moment. If you're enjoying the channel and the videos that I put together, please remember just to hit the button to like and subscribe. Drop us a comment as well. It all helps the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. But hope you're enjoying this one so far. That's really interesting. Just down here, it's an electric van, electric car, an electric motor, but there's a button that says start engine. Volkswagen, there's no engines on this vehicle, but I like, well, I wonder why they've done that. Anyway, let's go and drive it some more. paddleboarders out in the harbour down here at Sandbanks. Must be quite brave, chilly. Everywhere we go, as I'm driving along, it's just everybody's looking at the ID. Everybody's looking at the bus. Now, I actually quite like that. I know some people might be a bit self-conscious, but here in Sandbanks there's a lot of very nice vehicles to go with the very nice properties. I've seen Bentleys, Ferraris, a Lamborghini, but I think more people are looking at this than are looking at those. Just heading down to Branksome Chine Beach. Lovely little beach here in Poole. Okay, so I've come down to Branksome Chine, beautiful beach behind me. Looks a bit chilly for a dip. And we've got the ID Buzz parked up, next to it a T6, and then next to that a T5. So beach car park's just the natural collecting venue for Volkswagen vans. But let me take you inside the van and let me take you inside the ID Buzz and show you a bit more of the features, the accommodation, the space, and what it looks like. So I think I mentioned earlier on in my introduction that there's a lot of technology going on inside, which is the way with all electric vehicles now, but everything is controlled either by this touchscreen on the dashboard or by the buttons on the steering wheel here. Now that's absolutely fine, but you need to be familiar with the location and the operation of where the details are. So changing the ventilation controls is done by slider tabs on there. I prefer some rotary knobs. It's pinging, I think, because the door's open. It's very nice and sleek in terms of its layout, but I've plugged my phone in to use Apple CarPlay, which seems to be a bit more intuitive, probably because I'm more familiar with it than the Volkswagen systems. This is all touchscreen. Heated seats obviously are there. I'm sure we've got a heated steering wheel because it was nice and warm earlier, but all of those things are going to use energy when you're driving along. But you've got nice fabric upholstery. Seats are comfortable. It's noticeable the driving position is very much like the van, but it's noticeable that you're sat lower down. So it is more like a car in terms of its size and layout than a van, and I think lots of people have picked that up when talking about it. It's more a replacement, or it's more a passenger car than a commercial vehicle. Gear selector on the side took a little bit of getting used to. Again, once you've got used to it, it's all fine. Oh, button for a heated front windscreen, that would be good. So jumping in the back, this one is a 5-seater, so this is a 5-seater van, and there's good space across the rear here, certainly as much as good as the California. Some nice little touches that again you'd expect to find in passenger cars. The tables on the back of the seats. Armrests. Claire and I were only talking about those the other day. We couldn't go back to a car now without having armrests. You get so used to them, and longer journey comfort's really nice. And the boys will love this. Charging points in the rear, individual charging points. So again, for an electric vehicle, I think it's interesting, there's so many places to charge things up. So again, I mean, I would imagine that charging things all the time is going to have an impact on the overall battery capacity and range, but perhaps not significantly. But if you've got my phone, passenger's phone, the kids' phones, maybe a couple of other things, a fridge or whatever in the back, that's all taking energy. Seats individually slide to 60/40, so some versatility on that, and will fold down too. It's got this interesting layout in the back, this raised board. With these seats folded down, it's not a camper, but with the seats folded down, it almost creates an area where you could sleep. So if you weren't looking for a full camper setup, that could almost pass for being somewhere where you could sleep in the van. But for us personally, we'd need a little bit more space, and clearly there's no pop top. So this platform in the back is quite high up. It's got to be at least 6 inches there. Again, it's on legs which look like they're removable, charging cables underneath. You've got to keep them somewhere. But yeah, if you had that in place, obviously you've got a nice solid base. You could remove it, but if you're going to remove it, you've got to have somewhere to store it. But again, even more charging points in the back. Space for a slider. I'm guessing there's probably a 7-seat option available where you can put 2 extra seats in the back. Having double door access is something that we haven't had since we had our T5. That T5 Combi had twin sliding doors. Got used to just having the single door on the driver's side, but obviously on a passenger vehicle, twin sliding doors is absolutely the way to go. On a camper, single door is good because then you've got a fixed door inside for you organising your kitchen or cupboard storage space down one side of the interior. More charging points. I think the interior would certainly benefit from having, as a passenger version, a panoramic roof or glass roof. With the privacy glass, even with the light headlining, it's a little bit darker in here. But it's very spacious, very comfortable, and I have to say, as a family vehicle, as a family car, I think it's a really, really nice piece of kit. In terms of workable vehicle for us, with the range and charging, I'm not sure how viable it is because an awful lot of our majority of our main trips in our California are longer trips. So if we go to see my family, it's 150 miles each way. We'd have to charge at some point on that trip. If we go and see Claire's family, that's 110 miles each way. So again, really, you'd have to charge at the destination you're going to. So the range, practicality, the versatility on that is still a little bit of a not an issue, but something that you'd have to get accustomed to and learn to live with. I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet on that, although I love the technology and the drive of the vehicle. So the inevitable question about range is bound to pop up, and hopefully you can see on the display here, but it's showing 56% of battery remaining with a range of 124 miles. So by my reckoning, that's probably about 220 to 240 mile range. Obviously driving conditions will have an impact on that. Type of driving you're doing, whether you've got all the heating on, the heated seats, how many devices are plugged into the charging sockets. But yeah, I think real world probably 220, 250, which is pretty good in current electric car markets. But as I said, for us, for this type of vehicle, for the sort of jobs that we would be looking for it to do, I'm not sure if it's quite enough. I think another 100-mile range would be ideally what we'd be looking for. But that doesn't mean that it's not a really good car. See what I said? Car, not van. But sold through a commercial centre. Interesting. Just found the lever for front boot. Frunk. So I'm just curious to see what's under there. Not much by the looks of it. It's released something, but nope. And here we go, it's down here. That's interesting. You'd think it was going to be this top section, but it's not. It's the lower section here. Can you see? Ah, okay. So we've just literally got, there's a reservoir top up there, that must be to do with service, some air conditioning pipes, and then for us, the driver, the screen wash top up, and that's it. Nothing else in there. Okay, so enjoyed our time down at the seafront, down here at Branksome Chine. Let's head back to the dealership, give it a final little drive, and I'll give you my thoughts when we get back. There's a little graph on the dash, bottom left, which is showing me how much energy I'm regenerating going downhill and braking. That's one of the keys to these cars, is using the regen to get some free electricity. So what do I think of the ID Buzz? Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say I've been excited about driving it today. I've been waiting to drive one for a long time. I think I did a video about the first ones coming out of the factory over a year ago, about 18 months ago. You can find that on the channel. There's probably a link up here. So And having sold cars for a long time, I've always been interested with the new technology that's coming through. And this, I have to say, has been really impressive in the short time that I've had it. I can really see the potential in it. I think I've touched on it before, but I know I've touched on it before. Whether it's right for everybody in all circumstances, I don't know. And the key thing is the speed of charging, the availability of charging, and the range of the battery. But that technology is all going to get better in time. If we look at it in isolation, what's it like as a comfortable, practical vehicle? It's really good. But then it shouldn't be, because it's quite expensive. But I think it's more of a premium car, and certainly not a van, whilst it's very capacious. It probably is sort of the thing that if 10 years ago you were looking at a Ford Galaxy or a Seat Alhambra or a Volkswagen Charan, for the people who are looking at those will now be looking at one of these as the electric version. And I can see it being a great family wagon, especially with 2 extra seats in the back. It looks great. I love the styling of it. I love the way that you can make it quite funky with the 2-tone finishes if you want. This is a mid-range spec. It's got everything that I think you need. It's comfortable, it's quiet, and you've even got the ability, if you want to, looks like, to be able to sleep in the back, which is what we do occasionally in our California beach. So it is a great car, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm very grateful to the guys at Breeze for letting me borrow this. And I suppose the big question is, would I buy one? The answer is, if affordability was no question, then probably yes, but not as something to replace the California. As a family car, as a family wagon, and if you're looking for something electric, I think it's going to be hard to beat. And I think it's testament to the fact that it's won a few awards as well. But as a replacement for a Volkswagen California to be a campervan, nah, it's not there yet. Now, whether Volkswagen's California replacement, which is supposed to be coming in, I think, about 2 years, that's going to be on a longer platform. So ID this vehicle, but with a longer chassis. Sorry, the voice controller just picked up something, so he interrupted me. That's clever technology. Yeah, so the ID Buzz California, the rumours are that it's being developed on a long wheelbase version of this platform. That will provide more space, will also provide more length in the wheelbase to have a larger battery, but it's not going to make it any wider, it's not going to make it any taller. So in terms of comparable space to the existing California, the T6, T6.1 Californias, it's not going to be quite there, I don't think. But if you're looking for something compact, and certainly as a niche, an electric camper from the creators of the small campervan, Volkswagen, again, it would be very, very appealing prospect to have a look at. So family campervan, I know it won't be big enough. So for us, would I buy one as a campervan? No. Have I been impressed with it? Absolutely. So if I was looking for a electric 5-seat family car with the versatility to do all the stuff that we like doing, going out with the dog, chucking the bikes in the back, going down to the beach, weekends away, it's great. But that little bit extra to be in the full camper is not quite there yet. However, I'm sure there's loads and loads of converters who are eyeing this up and thinking, oh, we can do this, or we can put a sliding pod in here, or we can put this bed assembly in here, or a little kitchen unit, and that would be interesting to see. And then suddenly, if it's 2 people, as a basis for that, I'm sure it won't be. I know there's a couple of guys, a couple of firms out there who are already experimenting with that, and it's inevitable. It's inevitable. But I've really enjoyed using it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the video. I'd love to hear your comments below as to what you think. And would you buy one? So I hope you've enjoyed this video all about the ID Buzz. If you have, please remember to hit the button to like, please remember to hit the button to subscribe, and follow us on Campervan. Thanks for watching.